Rated R's on unmanned space probes. By the 1950s, scientists from all over the world realized that launching an object that can circle the Earth was practical. How did this aerospace achievement occur? Sputnik was launched to pressure the arms race and increase Cold War tensions. In the 1950s, both the United States and the Soviet Union were working to create new technology. 1957, the Soviet Union launched its first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1. The experts and citizens in the U.S. were in shock from the successful launch. The U.S. thought that they would achieve the scientific advancement first. They thought that they had genuinely fallen behind in technology development. From the Soviet success, as a result, after Sputnik 1 was launched, it served to increase the tension of the arms race and raise Cold War tensions. During the 1950s, both the US and the Soviet Union were working to create new technology. The US tested different types of rockets and missiles, but all of them have failed. Launch of the first Sputnik satellite was a big accomplishment for technology. Few in the US had expected it, and even those who did were not aware of just how impressive it would be.
The Sputnik 1 was created because the United States said that they would create the first satellite and launch it into space to commemorate the International Geophysical Year in 1957. But then the Soviet Union realized that the year 1957 was the 40th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. The United States and the Soviet Union were competing to see who would launch the first unmanned space probe, and the Soviet Union won. A major advancement that made unmanned space probes possible was rockets. Rockets led to the idea of unmanned space probes because they would launch rockets into our atmosphere to collect information. When they finally realized they could successfully launch rockets into our atmosphere, they wanted to launch them into space, and this is what led them to create unmanned space probes. A rocket was used to launch something into space for the first time on the Sputnik mission. The Sputnik 1 was the first unmanned space probe. This space probe opened the doors for the future of unmanned space probes and essentially led to the space race. One unmanned space probe that was created due to the Sputnik 1 was the Mars rover. The Mars rover was created to gather more information on the planet Mars. They knew that Mars was once a wet planet, but they wanted to figure out if it could have supported living organisms, so they created the Mars rover. To this day, they are still creating new unmanned space probes that have better technology so that they can find out more information on outer space.